JCI Vice President for Africa and the Middle East, and I'm assigned to 9 countries. I'm very happy to be with you today, and it's my pleasure to be giving this training, the JCI marketing strategy for JCI organizations. I will talk a bit about the training, but first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this wonderful event. It's great to see 4 different chapters joining in to create an event all over Africa and the Middle East. So thank you to all the 4 local chapters who are here. Thank you to President Yusuf and VPs Ahmed and Sumaya for the introductions and for organizing this event. So today's course is the, as I said, effective marketing strategy for JCI organizations. Can you all see the slides?
Yes.
Perfect. So just a small introduction about this course. This course is a test course, which means it's on its way to become an official JCI course, which means that soon you'll be able to train it yourself during your conferences or events in your local or national organizations. So this is being tested just to figure out what are the things that are missing or we need to fix before it becomes live. This also means that if you want to be able to train this course yourself, you will have to sit at some point in the future to take the exam, to take the knowledge test online. So that requires you to register and for me to have your emails. This will not take place before a few months, but once we have it ready, we will be able to send you an email with a link to take the knowledge test. So I will be sending in the comments a link for you to please register for this, if I can find the comments. How do we get the comments?
You just click on the bar. You can click on the bar, and there is the chat icon. So please, everyone.
I can see it.
Okay.
So I will send the link. Please just make sure to register and leave your email address. In order for me to register you, you will have to attend today's session and tomorrow's session to the end and participate as well in all the exercises in the chat box. So this is the link.
Please note that you should use your JCI account for the registration.
So as I said, this will not be your knowledge test. It will just, it's a Google form. So you will need to register, just leave in your email. Any email would work. For now, I will send you an email later on during the year when you can register for the knowledge test when it's live on the JCI website. So while you are also doing that, let's start a bit with the introductions. Since there's a lot of people here, obviously we can't do introductions by voice, but what I would like from you is to leave your name, your local organization and your position, local organization and national organization, your position, and answer the first thing. Give me things that you learned in JCI. So the sentence will be, in JCI, I have learned, and then continue the sentence. So please, if you just joined, make sure that you have registered on the registration link so that you can get access to the knowledge test later on to be certified in this course. And then you can also leave your answers in the chat for the first, for the introduction.
We are waiting for your comments on the chat, guys. Let's get introduced. We are waiting for your comments on the chat.
Hello, Ahmad, Mohammad, Yusuf.
We are hearing you.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for a few more people to.
Okay.
Great.
Already we have a set of people who already sent their names and their local organization.
Great. Would you help me read a few of them?
Yeah, of course. So there is me, Ahmed, JCI Medjez, VP training. I have learned all types of management from JCI. Mohammad Hadi Dawadi from JCI Tunis Business School. He is the marketing director. He said that I have learned how to lead a team to accomplish a task while improving their own skills at the same time. Yusuf, the president of Tunis Business School, he learned teamwork and how to communicate his ideas. Sumaya from Casablanca as a VP Growth Development and Training, she learned how to lead people, how to involve members and type of management, facilitation, etc. So we have Emna Awedi from JCI Tunis Business School. She is vice president in charge of external relations. She learned to be responsible, creative, and active. Bilal Ben Arbiya from JCI TBS, he is the treasurer. He learned team management, time management, and multitasking. We have Anil Maharajan from JCI Dapsi. He is member. He learned a lot of skills and training for personal and professional development. We have Zubair, executive president of JCI Conakry, Renaissance, from Guinea Conakry. So we have also our friend Kumal Kumar from JCI Navazari from India, national director. I learned a lot of things in JCI in last 9 years. Our friend Chao Ching, JCI Frankfurt from Germany, trainer. She learned about different preference of people. Suha Mastour from Jezlbeb as a member. She learned a lot of skills such as teamwork, public speaking, and how to speak up. Mohammad, member of JCI Tunis Business School. He learned teamwork and expressing his own opinion. Hiba from JCI TBS as a member. She learned how to better manage. So we have a lot of answers here, so I can jump somewhere. Karin, president of JCI Antananarivo. We have also Sihem Al-Azhari, member from Tétouan, Morocco. Welcome everyone among us. So I see many experience learned from JCI, and I think you share this with us, dear Mohammed. You have learned a lot from JCI.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, and thank you for everyone for joining us. It's very great that we have people from all over the world with us today, and I'm sure more of you are joining us on Facebook now to learn more about marketing strategy for JCI Effective for JCI organizations. So let's start a bit about what this course is about. So the aim of this course is to help local organizations structure their recruitment, to structure their marketing strategy. And so throughout this course today, you will be able to learn these points. Can you see the slides on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll be able to understand the basic concepts of marketing, explore the JCI brand, align marketing efforts to mission, vision, and goals, discover the target audience and how to communicate with them, and maintain a sustainable marketing strategy that ensures growth. So, as you know, this course will take place today for 2 hours and tomorrow for 2 hours. Today, we will be talking about the first 3 points, and tomorrow we'll talk about the target audience and then sustainable marketing strategy. As I said before, you have to register in order to gain access to the knowledge test once it's available later this year. And in order for you to access that, you will have to attend both sessions. So if you haven't registered yet, please make sure to find the link in the chat, and you will be able to access. I will email you soon to access the test.
We have a question, dear Mohammad, from Anil. He's asking, or she asking, can we apply this marketing concept to our business as well, or it's just effective for JCI?
A lot of the concepts are you can apply to a lot of things. The first module actually only applies to JCI because it's about the JCI brand and how to use it. But the rest of the modules you can use them, customize them to your business, to your organization, to anything that you might be doing in your life. So this course also has a workbook. Now, usually I don't give this course online, so we distribute the workbook for you to use it and to take notes. If you want the workbook, you can use this link and you can take notes on it on your laptop. I will also leave it in the comments for you. So you can download it now if you want to take a look of what sort of exercises. A lot of the things will require teamwork, but today we will be doing most of the exercises in the chat room with the help of VP Ahmed. He will be helping me moderate the questions. So as I said, there are 4 modules in this course. Today we'll be tackling the first 2, what is the JCI brand, and for us to understand that we're using the JCI brand correctly. And then we'll also talk about where your organization stands. So we're going to know what kind of information we need to research in order to understand where our organization stands. The third module is about your audience, who your audience is, and how to communicate with them. So which style, how do you talk to them, and these things. And fourth is how to create sustainable marketing for our organization. So marketing is not something that we do just 1 day or 2 days. It's something that we have to do continuously. And we'll be talking about the last 2 modules tomorrow. So first of all, I will be giving a brief introduction of what is marketing. Marketing is the means by which an organization communicates to, connects with, and engages its target audience to convey the value and ultimately sell its products and services. However, since the emergence of digital media, it has increasingly become more about companies building deeper, more meaningful, and lasting relationships with the people that they want to buy their products and services. So if you think about it, marketing now is about building relationships, and these relationships are no longer like what it used to be 10 years ago or 15 years ago, where marketing was just TV advertising and you cannot communicate with the company. Now, most of the communication is 2 ways. So the company can talk to the customer, but also the customer can talk directly to the company itself using social media. So we will also try to incorporate this. Now, also another thing that I would like to mention about this course is this is the first of 3 courses related to marketing in JCI. So this course will be about how to create a strategy. And usually when I give this course, traditionally not online, and you fill out the workbook is your roadmap to create a strategy for your local organization. So if you're a local board member or a national board member, you can take the workbook after you fill it to your team and tell them, let's create from this a marketing strategy to implement for our organization. So this is the first course out of that. The second course is about traditional marketing. on how to do TV interviews, press releases, mass media, and all of that for JCI organizations. And the third course that we will also be launching is about social media for JCI organizations, or digital media, including websites. So these are the three courses. Those are not done yet. This is the first course that we will be releasing. So I would like to ask you all now, and please comment your answers. Why is it important to conduct proper marketing for your local and national JCI organization? So please leave your answers in the comments about why do you think it's important to do marketing. And as usual, please, VP Ahmed, if you can help me.
Of course. So we have get the first answer from Anil. To make visible to international. So we use marketing to make our work visible to international. Kumar said to reach maximum people. Mohammad Hadi, enhance awareness about the cause you are defending. Mohammad Nabil, have more visibility. Abdul Majid, to keep brand visible to prospect. Hiba said, in order to reach your target audience and achieve your objectives. Kamal Kumar, again, branding to know JCI visibility to our audience.
Okay, great. So all of these are great ideas. Feel free to keep leaving your comments as well, and I will be giving you some of my suggestions. So the importance of marketing is creating the image of your organization. So each organization has a different vibe, different culture, different people in the organization, and sometimes you have different projects that you want to portray. So all of these make up the image of your organization. You also want to spread the word or message of your organization. So the mission, the vision, but not just that, about the things that you care about as an organization. You can also use marketing to cause social change. So you can create awareness campaigns on social media or on any form of traditional marketing to do awareness campaigns or cause some change in your society. One thing that's also very important is to attract members and volunteers. So without marketing, you're not able to reach new members. And how are you going to get new members and volunteers to join your organization without marketing? You can also attract donors, sponsors, and funders. So the more that you try to do marketing online or traditionally on TV or in newspapers or on radio, the more funders and sponsors know about you and hear about you, and the more followers you have, it's another incentive for them to sponsor you. You can also attract partners and create linkages with like-minded people who would like to do partnerships and projects with your organization. You can also build relationships with your community and also lobbying. So if you're trying to change something either with your government or in the minds of your people, lobbying is also a very important part of marketing for your organization. Okay, any more interesting comments do we have?
Are all about the same idea. So okay. About trust and attract new members, serving marketing. So
okay, so first of all, we're going to be talking about the JCI brand. It's very important to understand what does JCI stand for, what the JCI brand stands for, and how we use it correctly. A lot of times I see people using the logo in the wrong way, or they're still using the very old slogan or the old tagline. And so today we're going to be talking about that to make sure that all local organizations and national organizations in JCI are using the proper branding. So what is a brand? Brands are icons of our society. They reflect our personal preferences, values, and lifestyles. A brand does not just represent tangible things such as a label, logo, flyer, or feature. It does not consist of only rational benefits. A brand lives in the hearts and minds of the public. Brands represent an emotional connection, reaching far beyond rational reasoning and logic. So a brand really is how your organization or company is connecting with its target audience. And it's something that needs to be unique. So when people see that logo, see your brand, they can quickly understand what your brand is and remember it. So let's say one of the most famous brands in the world, McDonald's, when you see the golden arches, the big golden M, you don't, you automatically know that this is McDonald's. Even if you don't see the name written, even if you don't see the burger or the colors, you know that this is McDonald's because the brand is so strong, people recognize it very easily. So I want you to discuss in the comments now, what does the JCI corporate identity mean to you? What does the JCI brand mean to you? Yes, someone said it's logo, but what does the logo mean to you?
Let me say my opinion. So
Sure.
for me, the shield in JCI logo and the world map for me means the union between JCs all around the world to create a good impact and to raise awareness about active citizenship.
Okay, great. Any other ideas?
We have comments from Nabil, positive sustainable impact. Mohammad said union, Anil, connecting toward active citizenship. We have Kumar, network of young active citizens. Okay. Nabil said the blue color means trust.
Okay, great. So the primary purpose of a registered trademark or a corporate identity is to prevent people from becoming confused about the source or origin of a product or service. So trademarks to help people understand the question, who makes this product or who provides the service. So that you can also see that the JCI logo has a trademark TM next to the shield, and this is also very important. So as people become familiar with JCI's mark and the goods or services we represent, it can acquire a secondary meaning as an indicator of quality. Thus, establishing trademarks help people answer another question. Is our product or service a good one? So for this reason, JCI trademarks are valuable assets worth of protection. So what we're saying here is that when you see the JCI logo, you know that this is something that is high quality. When you see a JCI trainer, you know that this trainer has a lot of experience, for example. So JCI's corporate identity is a very important asset, and managing it is an important responsibility for us. So the objectives of JCI's corporate identity are to present a well-articulated, consistent, and legally protected corporate identity, to lay the foundation for recognition and preference for JCI among associates or vendors or members or the general public, and to demonstrate the essence of the JCI brand. So anything that you see with a JCI logo on it will evoke the feelings and ideas associated with an organization through its brand. You can also, as we said, identify the source of an event or an object or a person, reflect the mood of any piece of communication, from newsletters to signs to apparel. So the t-shirts that we are wearing, maybe you cannot see, but the t-shirt that we are wearing every time with the JCI logo on it, or the banners that we do at events, the things that we wear that have JCI on them, the pens, the business cards, all of these things reflect the mood of our organization. Ensure that every point of contact an individual has with JCI reflects the same tone. So when you see JCI in America and JCI in Asia and JCI in Africa and Middle East and JCI in Europe, more or less it's going to be a very similar identity, and you can easily identify these people as JCI members. And then a logo and a visual identity also means that an individual can easily identify JCI as one unified organization in every community where it is
found. Just a point, Mohammad, concerning how brand reflect union. So as you are seeing now, everyone. So Mohammad from JCI Lebanon, it's an officer in the World Executive Board. He's wearing the same color as the T-shirt from Tunisia. So it's very close. It's orange. In the morning, so we have Yunu having the same T-shirt. So having people from all around the world and using the same color. So this is really mean the union between all JCs.
So the reason that I'm wearing the orange T-shirt is that this year the orange is the color of JCI this year because of the cancer campaign that President Itai has initiated. So as you know, every year we choose a color to launch a campaign or a project. Last year's president, he had pink T-shirts for women, pink T-shirts for men, and blue T-shirts for women to break the gender stereotypes. And so each year we have a different theme. And as I said, and then I think this morning as well, VP Uno was wearing the same T-shirt, the orange one, to make sure that we are unifying the campaign for this year.
Good.
So any communication generated by JCI should reflect the passion that JCI members have for the betterment of society. This is the mission of our brand. This is why we focus on having a similar brand all over the world, because when you see our logo, you have to realize that JCI members all over the world reflect the passion to create a better society. So in order to do that, I want you to think with me about the major defining milestones of JCI. In the comments, if you can write some of the very important things that you think are, or important events that have happened since JCI began in 1915, what are the most important milestones? And why is it important that I'm asking this? Because we can use all of these milestones throughout our 105-year organization to market our local chapters, our national chapters, our projects, our international events, and all of that. So in the comments, if you can share with me, what do you think are the major milestones through the international JCI history?
We are waiting for your comment, guys.
Who can think of such milestones, very important things that happened in JCI, and maybe important partners, important events that happened throughout the years? Okay, the World Congress. Who else? Any other events? You think about the history of JCI. What important things that have we done throughout the history?
I think being a partner with the United Nations, it's in my opinion, it's the biggest milestone for JCI that helps all JCs to work on a very good journey, and they have the same path to work on it from all around the world.
Definitely, the UN partnership is very important, and definitely it's on the timeline. Someone is saying the Peace is Possible campaign all over the world, definitely, and World Cleanup Day. JCI India 2030 program, so same as after JCI by Government of India. Okay, of course, the creation in 1915, establishing JCI. Does anyone know when JCI began? It didn't begin as an NGO. It began as a type of club. Do you know what kind of activity they used to do before 1915? What was the main purpose? Yes, someone said a dance club. exactly. So
Yeah.
JCI began as a dance club, and our founder was one of the people who were in this dance club. And at one point, they wanted to come together and create change in their community. And so that dance club that they were doing events regularly became a platform for people to create events. And during that time, they wanted to build a highway in St. Louis. And one of the first projects of JCI is establishing a highway in their city. And that was why these active citizens changed their club from just dancing and entertainment events into something that they can actually create positive impact with. So I'm going to show you some of the milestones that we have. So of course, as you said, the JCI movement was founded in 1915, and then the first ever national convention was held in 1920. The first Congress that included more than one country, because you all know we started in the US, but the first one to include several countries was in Mexico in 1944. And the first JCI World Congress was held in Panama in 1946. The creed that we have today, that we use, was adopted in 1951. So the beliefs and the core values of the organization we've been using for more than 70 years now, or almost 70 years. In 1971, we had the first female national president elected in Nepal. I saw there was someone in Nepal here, so that your organization goes way back to 1971, electing the first female leader. In 1981, we established the United Nations Partnership. And then in 1994, we had a big campaign about 50 years of international action. And then in 2002, our headquarters relocated back to St. Louis after it was in Tulsa, Florida for 50 years. And then in 2004, we adopted the Millennium Development Goals by the United Nations, which are now the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2008, we partnered with the Nothing But Nets Foundation to create malaria awareness and funding all over the world. In 2010, we adopted the Active Citizenship Framework. In 2015, 100 years of impact. So we celebrated our 100 years in 2015, and we adopted the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2016, we launched the Peace is Possible campaign, and in 2017, we partnered with the World Cleanup Day. So these are some major points, and of course, there's a lot more of these points. You can go on the JCI website and the library. There's a lot of information there that you can utilize to market your local organization. And then, so when you go and tell someone that our organization is 105 years old, imagine there are countries that are younger than our organization. The United Nations itself is younger than our organization. A lot of things around the world are younger. So the vast history and the vast experience that our organization has is one important selling point. Even the gender equality, we've been trying to do that, as you see in 1971 with the first female national president. Okay, now let's talk about the JCI logo. Who knows what the JCI logo means? If you'd like to leave some comments before I can give you the answer. What does the logo mean?
We have an answer. So they are saying identity from Clay Mirage.
Okay. Do you know how it started? Look, what does the shield mean? The shield symbol. Why was it used in the beginning?
Let's be more active, guys. We are waiting for your comments on the chat.
Protection. Actually, that is correct. The shield symbol was originally used by the US Junior Chamber to represent one who protects or defends. So as active citizens, JCI members were and are expected to protect and defend their communities around the world. So originally, the US Junior Chamber used a map of the United States inside the shield. When the organization became international, the map was replaced by the globe symbol, which is a map of the world with the North Pole in the center. It is the exact same globe symbol used in the United Nations logo. As one of the first non-governmental organizations with special consultative status to the UN, JCI was given permission at that time to use the UN symbol with our logo. So we're one of the few organizations allowed to use the UN globe inside of our logo. Each JCI organization uses a version of this mark with their organization name incorporated in their own way, until in 2003, all JCI organizations were asked to unite under the name JCI and follow the current version of the JCI corporate identities. So you see, JCI used to be called JCs in the US, and if you see some of the local chapters in JCI USA are still known as JCs, because that's what they were known for, and it's been hard for them to convert to the new branding. But more or less, most countries in the world, aside from one country in Europe that I can think of, do not use their logo in all their local organizations. However, all national organizations now must use the JCI logo. Okay, so now I have a small exercise for all of you. I will be sharing the link on the comment in the comments for you to go and take a question. I will show you on the screen 12 versions of the logo, and I want you to tell me which of these logos are correct representations of the JCI logo and which ones are wrong. So I will send you a link. Please click on the link and choose which ones are correct. There's more than one that is correct. And then after that, we will discuss which ones are correct and which ones are not and why they are not correct. So please, I will give you 2 or 3 minutes. Go on the link and vote. Okay, I'll give 1 more minute. I see we have 15 people have replied. So almost half of you. And meanwhile, if you haven't registered as well for the course, to leave your email so I can send you the knowledge test when it's ready, make sure to check the other link and fill in. I only have 22 people on that link, and I see not everyone has registered. Okay, so I will try to show the screen. There we go. Can you see? So most people said the correct one is number 1, and number 3, and number 10, and number 9. So I will write these so I can go back to the slides. So number 1, number 3, number 9, and number 10. Okay, let's talk about which ones are correct. All of you, or most of you, said number 1 is correct. Number 1 is actually wrong. Who can tell me why number 1 is wrong? Yes, Nabil. Number 1 is without the trademark. So as I told you, the trademark is a very important part of the logo that cannot be removed. And it's very important not to crop the trademark out of the logo. Number 2 is obviously wrong because it is not the right ratio. So it is squished. So we cannot squish or expand or change the ratio of our logo. Number 3, a lot of you said is correct, and it is indeed a correct use of the logo. Number 4 is wrong. Who can tell me why number 4 is wrong? Yes, we have 5 colors to use and black is not one of them. Great. Number 5 is also wrong because the shield color cannot be changed. So you must use the same exact colors with the logo. Number 6 is also wrong because it's cropped. So we cannot crop any part of the logo. We cannot expand or squish the logo. Number 7 is wrong because the local name must always appear below the logo. Number 8 is wrong because of the shield size. Exactly, logo, the shield is too big. What about number 9? Do you guys think it's correct? Yes. Number 9 and number 10 are actually both correct. Because when you create a logo, you have to be able to adapt it to when you are printing or when you have different types of backgrounds. So if you are printing the logo in black and white, it has to all show in black. So this is a correct use of the logo. You can use the black logo on a light background, and you can use a white logo on a dark background. So if your background is blue, like in number 10, you can't obviously use the logo because it will not show. So you can use a white background on there. Number 11 is wrong because you cannot use the shield on its own. It's very important to use the full logo all the time. And also you cannot use JCI on its own. You always have to use the logo, the shield with it. And then finally, number 12. Why is number 12 wrong?
It's totally wrong.
Because
of the color. It's not officially used by JCI.
Exactly. So if you're going to use one monochrome color for the logo, it always has to be either white or black. It cannot be any other color. So the proper uses are the original colors, the black and the white. There's a whole document in the library under corporate identity guidelines where you can see all the rules, all the fonts, all the colors. Here I'm showing you the correct color usages of the logo. So we have 5, and then each national organization, when they begin, they choose a color for their logo. And every local organization in that national organization must use the same color. So if your local organization is not using the same color as your national organization, make sure to align it because that is against the identity guidelines. And then another important thing is the font size. So you cannot change the font size. If your local organization name is very long, then you can use 2 lines, or you can use an abbreviation. So again, all of these are in the corporate identity guidelines. Make sure to check them out and see if your organization is doing them correctly. So now let's talk about the slogan. Who knows, before we talk about the JCI slogan, let's look at the slogans on the slide. There are 5 slogans. Who can tell me which companies are these slogans? So Nike is just do it. Yes, that's correct. What about think different?
I think it's Apple.
Definitely Apple. And Nabil says, I'm loving it is McDonald's. That's correct. It's finger licking good. Does anyone know?
No.
KFC, that's correct. And where dreams come true. Disneyland, definitely. So you just saw the slogan without seeing the company, without seeing the logo, without seeing the colors or anything, and you automatically know which company it is. Now, does anyone know what the JCI slogan is?
We have
great. Everyone is saying that it is be better. Yes. So the JCI slogan is be better, and this is the appropriate colors that you can use it in. Can someone tell me why? What does be better mean?
Nabil said improve. Hamraj said good.
Okay.
Hiba said development, as well as Abdul Majid, develop.
Become a better version of yourself and always try to seek the better version of yourself. Great. So very great ideas. Be better actually embodies the spirit that all JCI members share and the purpose stated in our mission to create positive change. JCI members constantly seek ways to live this concept. They not only believe that improvement is possible, they see it as it's their responsibility to initiate change both in themselves and in their local community. They seek solutions to the problems they see around them to create better nations, better environments, and better societies. They also know that true lasting change starts from within. They learn through their experiences, becoming better citizens and better leaders with better skills to create a better future. So just a few tips for when you're using the JCI slogan. You always have to use it with the JCI logo somewhere on the item that you are using. So if you're printing a poster or if you're doing anything that has the slogan in it, you have to use the logo on the same item. And then it should not be stretched or distorted in any way, and it should not be obscured by other images or shapes on top of it.
A question, Mohammed, about the slogan.
Yeah.
Why there is not a white version of it?
Let me double check that. You can actually use it in white. So, but white on this, it's not on the slide, but you can use it in the colors, in one color, which is the blue, and then the shades of that blue, and then the gray, the black, and the white.
Okay, very good. But even it's not just about the presentation. I think also in the JCI corporate identity document there is not a white version. That's why I'm asking.
There's no white version, but if you read the text in the document, it says that you can use it in white.
Okay, very good.
Oops. Okay, so who knows what the JCI tagline is? It was something that we recently revealed a new tagline last year. So who knows what that is?
So guys, we are waiting for
the tagline is what you explain, how you can explain JCI in one phrase. This is what tagline is used for. So what is our tagline?
Nabil said communication. What about the others?
That's not correct. There is one specific tagline.
Yeah. Impact, bridge the gap. No?
No, bridge the gap is this year's theme. Yeah. But a tagline is something that goes beyond the years.
Think about a link between all what we was talking about. If I am not wrong, we think about the vision and the mission, so we can go through tagline.
So what does JCI do? What is the main thing that we're doing these days? So the tagline is actually developing leaders in a changing world. Exactly. Someone wrote it, developing leaders. So this is tagline, and as JCI members are all active citizens who are actively learning the skills to be leaders who provide answers to community challenges. JCI members are young people who stake their claim on the future that they want. They don't wait for someone else to take action. As we work towards achieving our long-term goal of being the organization that unites all sectors of society to create sustainable impact, JCI members serve as leaders in their communities, embodying the tagline, developing leaders for a changing world. And there are other taglines that we've been using throughout the years, and I see a lot of organizations are still using them in their posters. It's very important that you are using the new tagline because this is the tagline of our organization at this time, and the tagline changes throughout the years to reflect the different changes that your organization is going. So make sure to tell your local presidents, your national presidents to use the new tagline. Okay. So who wants to go on with audio and video and give me a short summary of what we talked about so far? I usually do this in the live sessions and in the traditional sessions, and I choose someone at random to give me a summary. So if no one volunteers, I will choose someone. So it's better for you to volunteer yourself.
Please raise your hand if you volunteer, so we can, or we will choose someone randomly. I think we don't have volunteer here, Mohammad. Let's choose someone.
Okay, you can choose someone, Ahmed, for me.
Okay, so we have Xiaosheng. Do you hear us? Yeah, very good. So, Chao Chang, the floor is yours.
Can you give me a summary in 1 minute? What have we discussed so far in the first module?
So we were defining what is marketing and why marketing is important. And we learned about the visual identity of JCI, where it comes from, and how to apply it, and the meaning of the additional elements of the brand, like the tagline.
Great. Thank you so much. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chao Ching, our friend from Frankfurt, Germany.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now everyone knows that after every module, I will be doing the same. So make sure you're always alert, and then maybe you will be chosen at random to give us a summary. Does anyone have any questions about the first module? Okay, since there's no questions, I will be moving to the second topic that we'll be talking about today, which is where your organization stands. So this module is about understanding how to set marketing goals and what value your organization brings to the community.
So before going on, Mohammed, let me remember all the participants that you should register so you can receive the knowledge test, and then you have your certificate. I will resend the registration link on the chat. So please register so you can access the knowledge test.
And if someone is watching us on Facebook, they can join the Zoom call, right?
Yeah, if someone is watching us on Facebook right now, just leave a comment and I will add you to the Zoom room.
Perfect, thank you. So let's talk about what the marketing strategy is. A marketing strategy is a comprehensive document that outlines your organization's overall marketing efforts. So it's the blueprint that outlines how your local or national organization will implement its marketing strategy and use a combination of resources to achieve your objectives. Due to the ever-changing environment and marketing tools that become available, the modern-day marketing strategy tends to be relatively short in nature, covering 1 to a few years. So I want to ask you this question. Who here knows that their local or national organization has prepared the marketing strategy? You can leave in the comments if you do or you do not have one. No one.
Yeah, I think no one have an answer.
So I'm not surprised. Usually none of the organizations that are attending this training have a marketing strategy. And this is the importance of this course, is to help you create a marketing strategy. So what I want you to do is, after you're done with this training tomorrow, to go to your local president and tell them we should create a marketing strategy in order to have a unified way of marketing our organization. And then if you use the workbook, as I said, and Ahmed, if you can send the workbook link again to everyone, once you think about all those exercises, you more or less come up with a marketing strategy that you can implement. Yes, someone is asking that I can explain what a marketing strategy is. So what I said is a marketing strategy is a document that your organization creates in order to have a blueprint of how to conduct marketing activities based on your goals, your metrics, things you want to do. And we're going to discuss all of this today and tomorrow. So it's your strategy going on how to implement marketing, what kind of tools you use, what's your tone going to be, which language you want to use, which platforms are you going to be on social media, or do you want to go on TV or on radio. So all of these are part of a document that outlines what a strategy is. And the time frame is usually 1 to 3, 4 years. Because you don't want to have a different strategy every year. And because it's a one-year to lead organization, it's good to have a continuous image and not having every president come up with a different strategy and then people will get confused, because the key to a proper marketing strategy is continuity, is sustainability. If you change your logo every year, people will get lost. If you change the way you talk to them every year, people will get lost. So it's very important to have this as part of your strategic planning for the 5 years. So as you know, JCI internationally does a strategic planning or strategic plan every 3 to 5 years. And that plan also should include the marketing strategy. So each national and local organization should also do their strategic plan that include a marketing strategy. Okay, so who can tell me what the JCI mission and vision is? Who's going to be the first one? No one.
I think they are writing. Show of
Let's see.
guide. Kamal Kumar said to provide development opportunity to create positive change.
Great, and the vision is to be the leading global network of active youngsters, of young
Yes,
entrepreneurs.
that's correct, Ru'a.
Yeah. So great. Why am I mentioning these now? Because we have to take consideration of what the mission and vision is into our marketing strategy. So if my vision is to provide opportunities, our mission is to provide development opportunities to create positive change. I cannot be marketing things about selling diapers. So I need to incorporate this message in every communication that I need to do, that JCI is here to create opportunities or provide opportunities to empower young people and to create positive change. So these three elements need to be present on every single communication that we do. Not just the words, I mean the essence of the communication need to portray what we do as an organization. Okay, so now let's talk about what are the objectives that align with our mission and vision. So when I do marketing, what do I want to achieve? What are my objectives or goals? So tell me why, like we mentioned in the beginning of the course, why would we do marketing in general for our organization? But so tell me something more specific now. Why are we going to do marketing? What will our organization benefit? So improve reach, that is one. What else?
Let me say so. In our mission, we are talking about providing opportunities.
Okay.
So by doing marketing, we will reach more people, not just JCs. So we will provide opportunity to a large audience. So we will make a bigger impact.
So providing more opportunities, bigger impact. Great. What else? If you remember from the first thing we did in the course, what else did we say? Reach non-JC and specifically youth, okay. Other than reach, what else are we doing? What can marketing help us do?
Raise awareness.
Awareness campaigns, yes, definitely.
Attract and impact from Sumaya and Ru'a.
Okay, attract who? And attract them to do what?
Suhail said make the change.
Okay.
And
Attract
to
members.
Sponsors also.
Sponsors, great. Okay, so everything that we talked about now are general goals. In order to have a proper marketing strategy and a proper strategy in general, you have to know something that is called a SMART goal. So marketing goals should be smart in order for you to be able to achieve them. And SMART, each letter in SMART stands for something specific. So as you can see, the S stands for specific, the M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for realistic, and T stands for time bound. So when you do your marketing strategy, you have to put specific SMART goals in order to not have something very broad and is not achievable. In general, everyone who wants to pursue a goal knows that it's important to provide a good description of this goal. Empty slogans do not bring satisfactory results. So making a concrete analysis in advance will help you to get to the finishing line. A useful method to achieve this, as I said, is the SMART goal. So let's talk about each part of the SMART goal. The S, as I said, stands for specific. So when you're setting your goal, be specific about what you want to accomplish. Think about this as your mission statement for your goal. This isn't a detailed list of how you're going to meet the goal, but it should include an answer to the popular W questions. So the W questions being who, like consider who needs to be involved to achieve this goal, what, think about exactly what are you trying to accomplish, what is the specific time frame or time bound for your goal, where is definitely where you want to apply that goal, which is determine any related obstacle or requirements that might hinder you. So so asking which can be beneficial. It can be beneficial in deciding if your goal is realistic. For example, if the goal is to open a baking business, but you've never baked anything before, that might be an issue. So as a result, you might refine the specifics of the goal is to learn how to bake in order to open a baking business. And then why is the reason of the goal? Why are you passionate about achieving this goal? And then when it comes to using this method for members, for example, the answer will likely be along the lines of the JCI mission or to create more opportunities. So this is about specific. You have to answer who, what, when, where, which, and why. In order for your goal to be measurable, you need to know what metrics you're going to use to determine if you meet the goal. So let's say I want to be famous on Facebook, or I want everyone to know me on Facebook. So one metric for that is to set a specific number. Let's say I want to have 5,000 fans by the end of the year. And so that is measurable. The goal also needs to be achievable. So this focuses on how important a goal is to you and what you want to make it attainable, and may require developing new skills and changing your attitudes. This goal is meant to inspire motivation, not to discourage you. Think about how to accomplish the goal if you have the tools still needed. If you don't have the skills, consider what it takes to attain them. So if your goal for your organization is to produce nicer looking posters, nicer looking posters, but you don't have a designer on your team, then it will be, in order to achieve this goal, you either need to learn how to design posters or find a volunteer who knows how to do that. And that's how you can make your goal achievable. And then R is for relevant. Relevance refers focusing on something that makes sense with a broader business goal. For example, if the goal is to launch a new product, for example, if you have a company, it should be something that's in alignment with the overall business objectives. And it's the same with JCI. So whatever project you want to launch, it has to align with our mission and vision. So let's say our vision this year is to work on environmental projects. I'm not going to create a project that is not related to remotely unrelated. So I'm not going to open a daycare, for example, for children. So you have to make whatever goal that you put relevant to the time, the theme, the time period, anything that you are working on. And then T stands for time bound. Anyone can set goals, but it usually, if it lacks a realistic timing, then it will not happen. So think about New Year's resolution. Every year people go on New Year's and they make a new resolution, a goal for themselves, and then after 5 days they give it up because they don't set a time for themselves. Everyone thinks that at the beginning of the year I'm going to go to the gym, and then a week later I'm going to become muscled and buff. But then that's not how it works. They haven't put a realistic timeline for them to achieve it. So these are the five marketing, five components of the SMART goal. I'm going to give you a realistic example. Instead of saying, I want to lose weight, that is not a SMART goal because it's very vague. You can do something, you can say something that is, I will lose 2 kilograms of body fat by the 30th of July. So now it's much more realistic, much more measurable, much more achievable, and you have a time for it. So as you can see, you already assigned that to the person, so you already know who will do it. It's yourself. You will lose 2 kilos, which is a realistic number. It's a measurable number of body fat, so you're being specific and realistic. And you set a time to achieve that. So this is how you usually set a SMART goal. Now, what I want from you now is to think about what would a smart marketing goal for your local organization be? So each of you have a different case. Some of you have thousands of members or hundreds in your own organization, and some of you don't have a lot of members. Some of you are on TV every day talking about JCI. Some of you are using social media. So think about what your organization is doing. And in the comments, give me a SMART goal that, a SMART goal that fits these 5 elements, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So I'll give you a minute to think about it, and please leave it in the chat.
We have Mohammad Hadi said his goal is to have 3,000 likes on Facebook by November.
Okay.
Currently, they are having 20,240.
2,240. Okay, good. That's a good goal because you have, it's measurable, it's specific. You know where you want to do it. What your goal lacks is who is going to be doing this. So who is this goal? Will you be doing it? Will your marketing director be doing it? Will your local president? So that can also be something to include in your goal. Okay, so your team. Someone said have 10 new prospects every month. So that's good. That's 10 new potential members every month. But who is responsible to achieve this goal?
It's not what we're talking.
Someone says 50 JCI Entrepreneur Network chapter in India. Currently it is at 5 and you're starting 4 more in May. Okay, so 50 might not be very achievable. And also you haven't specified a time. So if you want to say 50 in the next 10 years, maybe I'll tell you, yes, maybe you can do that, or maybe you can do it in 1 year. So you have to specify 50 in 1 year, and now you already have 9, right? So you know better if that's achievable or not. I know India has a lot of chapters, so it might be achievable. Okay, anyone else would like to share with us? Someone said 10 in 1 year local chapter. What do you mean? Okay, let's move on to positioning. Does anyone have any questions about how to set the SMART goal?
I have a question, Mohammad.
Sure.
What about using SWOT analysis to enhance more our strategy and our goals? So before we set a SMART goal, we do a SWOT analysis.
A SWOT analysis. Let me actually. There is a SWOT analysis in either this course or it's in the membership growth course. So definitely SWOT analysis is very important, and if you don't know what a SWOT analysis is, it is about creating an analysis about your organization where you put your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats that face your organization in order to set your goals. So it is in the Engage, Empower, Grow, which is another course that is now official, and it will be launching hopefully by May on the website. That course is about recruitment, so how to recruit members, and it includes a section where you can do a SWOT analysis. So definitely, it's a very good idea. We haven't included it in this course because we don't want to repeat different things and the same thing in different courses. So definitely, SWOT analysis is important. If you want, I'm typing it in the chat. If you want to look it up, you can research it as well.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so Maya is saying to have 20 of our members assigned to current projects and creating impact by the end of the year. We fixed some KPIs to measure that. Great, that's great, cool. You have to just assign it to someone or have it specific to someone. So the who part. Okay, let's talk now about positioning. Positioning is a deliberate process by which local organization or national organizations identify your strengths and assess the gaps in the competitive landscape and choose the way it will present itself to the audiences and enter the community. So just give me a second. So it's very important for you to understand what positioning is. Positioning is what your audience thinks about you. So when or where your audience positions you. So there's a lot of organizations in the world and in your country. There's JCI, there's Lions, there's Rotary, there's so many other NGOs, Greenpeace, depends on your country. So what makes you stand out to the people who, when you say JCI, what do they think? So positioning is a combination of 4 different things. What you're passionate about and good at, what your funders and your donors will pay for, what other organizations are or are not doing, and what the world needs. So let's talk about each one of these. What you're passionate about and good at. Why is this important? The things that you are good at are things that you can do easily, that you don't need a lot of resources and you don't need to outsource things to do, which means that you can do them easily, maybe better than other organizations in the world. What are the things that JCI is good at? Who can tell me? Anyone? VP Ahmad, do you have an idea?
Let me leave the other participant try to. We have Kamal Kumar said leadership and training.
Great, definitely. So leadership development, training leaders, and trainings on different things. What else? Networking, definitely. Big network of like-minded people. So networking is something that we do very well, and this course is an example of that. In Germany, it's about providing trainings for small and medium enterprises, definitely. So business, so in Europe in general, they're more catered towards business development. So these things that we're talking about are what JCI is good at. So, and then of course we have business development. As I said, there's also community development. So our 4 pillars of JCI or areas of opportunities, the things that we work on: business development, community development, individual development, and international relations. So these are the things that we are very strong at. So when we're thinking about our positioning, this is what we need to work on. Also, what will our funders and donors pay for? So this is also very important that some local organizations don't think about. let's go and do an assessment in our society, in our city, in our country. What are people paying for in terms of, and not people, I mean organizations, funders, things like UN agencies, maybe the embassies, maybe the other organizations, the funds that come from different countries. What are they interested in? So a lot of the funds right now are coming for refugees and about climate change, the environment, women empowerment, and sex trafficking. So all of these are really important issues that the world is facing. And of course, right now it's the coronavirus. So there's money in those domains. So why don't we come up with projects that align with our mission and vision, projects that align with our positioning, that also benefit from what the funders are willing to pay for? Because if I have the most amazing project about sea turtles or dolphins, and then there are no dolphins in Lebanon, and no one's willing to pay money to support dolphin projects, then my project either will not pick up, or I will need to invest my own money, and then that project will ultimately fail because it's not in demand. And this also goes back to the active citizenship framework, where you have to do that analysis, and you have to keep that in mind to see what the people with money are willing to pay for. So that you also have to include that in your positioning. Another thing is what organizations are or are not doing. So this can go both ways. Sometimes you want to do what organizations are doing because you can get partners. So let's say that with Work Cleanup Day. Work Cleanup Day was possibly one of the biggest events we did in JCI Lebanon. It is the biggest event that we've ever did in 2018, where we're a very small organization. We had around 3,500 volunteers join in the organization through dozens of partners. So there are dozens of organizations doing recycling or working on climate change, or on garbage, and in Lebanon we do have a garbage crisis. So there's so many organizations. When we went and talked to them about, yes, we want to do Work Cleanup Day, a lot of them were very excited to join in. So we gained from their experience, from their resources, from their funders, to come out to do that event in 35 locations or 30 locations in the country. But then it's also important to think about what others are not doing, but there's a demand for that. So let's say there's a big refugee, a lot of refugees in your country, but there's not a lot of projects being done to help them out. Now we know that there's a lot of money coming to support refugee projects from the European Union, from the UN, from the World Health Organization, so many organizations. So if I see no one in my country is working on this specific topic, then that is also something that I can think about and adjust in my positioning. And that also aligns with what the world needs. So let's think about what my community needs, but also what the world needs, because the world has so many problems that are not specific to certain countries. So for example, climate change is something that is happening throughout the world, is not happening to specific countries. Now, a lot of countries are facing this the hardest, even though they're not producing any pollution. And think about a lot of the island states in Africa, in the Pacific. These countries are suffering so much, even though they barely have any pollution. So this is a problem for the world. And one of the biggest problems now is the coronavirus. It's the same thing. What does the world need? The world needs now is people to come together to do social distancing, to flatten the curve, to come up with a cure or a vaccine for the virus. So whatever we can do to achieve either the awareness part or find funding for scientists, for example, to help them come up with vaccines, this is something that we can do to make the world better. So when we combine all these four things, we can come up with the positioning of our local organization or our national organization, depending on where you lie. So we have to think about, to recap, what we're good and passionate about, what we're good at, what will people pay in my community for, what other organizations are doing or are not doing, depends on the situation, and what the world needs. And all of these will come for a positioning. So I want you now to think about your local organization and tell me what would be an adequate positioning for your local or national organization. So to give you an example, JCI Beirut, where I'm from, have been focusing on environmental projects for the last 3 or 4 years. Things about creating green spaces in Beirut, things about World Cleanup Day, recycling. We were planning to hold a conference about climate change or about the environment last year. So there's a lot of projects. So our positioning right now is doing environmental projects, because if we go back to the 4 elements of that, we have a lot of members who are really good and really passionate about the environment, and we have a lot of problems that relate to the environment in Lebanon, so that's something we can benefit from. A lot of people are willing to support climate change or green projects in Lebanon, so it was not very hard to either do fundraisers for these projects or get donors and sponsors for them. And then definitely it is something that the world needs. And there are a lot of other organizations that wanted to partner with us. So right now, people think about JCI Beirut in specific as an organization that develops leaders to improve their environment. And this might not be the mission of JCI in general, but this is what the positioning in people's mind is when they think about JCI Beirut. So now that I give you that example, can you write in the comments what do you think your positioning for your local organization is? And if you'd like to go on audio or video and discuss that with us, you're also free. Just let Ahmed know.
Let me give an example for my local organization.
Sure.
JCI Antananarivo from Tunisia. We are in agriculture area, and we are in our town. It's we have a river, the biggest river in Tunisia, pass through our town. So we can work on agriculture and do how to use this river that's flow every day during the year. We can use technologies because we are youth here. So we think about AI, about going for a new level of agriculture, using technology for it. And this is what funders are paying for it now in Tunisia. Many organizations, they are giving funds for people who are working on digitalization and improving all fields by adapting virtual machines and artificial intelligence. So we can position our work in JCI Antananarivo on agriculture and more adequate on for the
I think you've disconnected. I cannot hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. So where I stopped?
Maybe like in the last 30 seconds.
So I was talking about we can position on a green technology because it's attracting funders. Not everyone is working on it. It's easy to access it because we are in agriculture place, and the world need to improve all fields by technologies.
Okay, great. There are some comments as well. Sumaya is saying we have an environment project about recycling, a project to develop entrepreneurship on students, a project to mentor entrepreneurship to export their products. So you do have like some diverse things, but it seems like a general trend would be about entrepreneurship. which can also be some sort of positioning. And just to be clear, I don't mean that when you do a positioning that's the only thing that you're doing, but because you know what you're famous for. So how like the McDonald's is famous for the, what is it called, the famous burger, or the
Happy Meal.
the Happy Meal, or the Big Mac, and then the Burger King is famous for the Whopper, but they do also have other things. So you have to think about your positioning for something that people know you for, but then when they come and know more about your organization, they see the other things that you are doing. So if you're focusing on entrepreneurship, you will become a leader in your society when it comes to entrepreneurship, and you will become people will know you for that. So whenever they have a project about entrepreneurship, they will call you and tell you, let's partner. So this is what positioning more or less is. Another example is developing well-trained business people to create a more sustainable society and improve the economy. So that's also a great positioning, because people think about you as a training organization that improves not just their personal skills, but their business skills. And that is also a good positioning to be. A third example is we would offer development opportunities and national and international networking for young employers and entrepreneurs of SMEs. So yes, networking is a good positioning. So to be known as a networking organization where you can meet business people for young people. So that is also a really good positioning to be at. And each local organization will have their own positioning, even in the same national organization. So it depends on what the four components that we talked about, and you will become known for that. So once you know your positioning, it's important to include it in your marketing strategy, because you have to capitalize on it. So if people know me for environmental projects, I need to put marketing about that, but I also need to put marketing about the things that people don't know about me. So when you know what your positioning is, you know what people know and people know you for, and people might not know you about, and then you have to balance your communication about that. Any questions about positioning before we move on to the next point? I have to be a bit quick. I have 2 more points to address. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll get back to them towards the end of the session.
I think it's clear.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So another thing that you have to include in your marketing strategy is your unique value proposition, or UVP. So this is your exclusive continuous value, which your audience will gain by supporting your cause. So more specifically, it answers 2 questions. What makes your cause unique and worthy of support? And how is aligning your local and national organization beneficial for both your prospective members and for your community? So what this means is what makes you unique in your community. So, or it can be your cause or your project or your local organization, and why should people support it? So in order for you to think about your unique value proposition, you have to answer these questions as part of your strategy. How do you want your support? How do you want supporters and/or the community to perceive your organization? So it's kind of similar to the positioning, but here, what will they think about your organization? How would they feel when you say JCI? What does your organization want to accomplish, and what is the best result you can expect to deliver? And some of the things that you need to keep in mind are you have to speak to your target audience, and we're going to talk about that a lot tomorrow on how to know who your target audience is and how to speak to them. And then also focus on return on investment. So what that means is I put 100 volunteers to work on this project, but this project did not work out, or I did not get enough people to show up to this event. or I put $500 in marketing on in ads for this for the recruitment event, and I only got 5 members. Is that worth it for me? So return on investment is how much resources I put in and how much result I got out, and is it worth it? And then emphasize sustainable continued value. So your unique value proposition is something that is continuous with your organization, and not something that is one project and then it's done. So what do you think the unique value proposition of JCI is? What is something that we do so uniquely, so good, that it's our competitive edge in an essence? And again, this might be different for each local organization, but JCI in general has some broad unique value propositions.
There is Mohammad.
Yes.
I'm really sorry.
Mohammad said, can you repeat the definition of unique value proposition?
Yes. So it's your exclusive continuous value that the audience will gain by supporting your cause. So it is something that will continuously happen no matter when you join JCI. So let me give you an example about this. So the unique value proposition of JCI, when you talk to someone about JCI, you tell them, oh, we are an organization that creates development opportunities. But we're also an organization that is present in 120 countries. We have 200,000 members all over the world. And we have events all over, every year, all over the world that you can attend and meet people from these countries, people from countries you've never heard of before. So when I tell you this sentence, what am I telling you about what is unique about JCI? What will that member benefit when I tell him we have 200,000 members? So our unique value proposition related to this specific sentence is we have a massive network of people all over the world, and you can gain international exposure, international friends, international business partners or associates or anything you would like to benefit from the international relations. That is one of our unique value propositions, because not a lot of organizations have this. There are many NGOs that are international in a lot of countries. They don't have world congresses and area conferences and events and academies all over the world that you can attend on a monthly basis. So for example, that is one of our unique value propositions. Another, is there anyone answering? I'm sorry, I didn't look at the chat.
Just Hiba said international network, and this is what he was talking about.
Definitely.
We can consider our event, this forum, as an opportunity to network. So we have more than 7 nationalities here among the participants. So it's a very good opportunity to network, to have friends, and to have a business partner from all around the world.
Definitely. So if you think about the 4 areas of opportunities of JCI, those align very well with what we do uniquely. And some organizations have some of these areas stronger than others. So in Europe, their unique value proposition is the business development, for sure, working with entrepreneurs, working with SMEs, working on developing business relations. So they really care about that. So if you see someone in JCI Germany, for example, or France, or any of the big European organizations, their UVP is going to be about business. But then when you come to Lebanon, for example, our UVP is about developing the community, but also training. We have amazing trainers, and we're very known for our training as an organization. So that is also, so people will think if you want to become a trainer or if you want to improve your training capabilities, join JCI Lebanon. So there is a general JCI unique value proposition, which more or less align with the 4 areas of opportunity. But also each national and local organization can have their own, and that's what really makes them stand out from everyone else. Is this clear? before I move on to the next point. Yes, great. So what I want to talk about now is the marketing pyramid, or acquisition of a customer, or acquisition of a member, or acquisition of anything related to marketing. So there's a lot of different theories about a lot of different ways that this model can be portrayed. In this course, we'll learn just one of them, but some of them are a cycle, some of them are a pyramid, but more or less it's the same idea of how you can find someone off the street and have them become convinced in your idea. So usually any person, so let me simplify this. So imagine I opened a restaurant today that sells burgers. How do I get people to learn about my restaurant, to get interested, to want to come to my restaurant and eat there, and then keep coming again? So in consumer psychology, people go through 5 different stages in order to, from learning about the product or service to becoming loyal to that product or service. So let's start with the first one. So this is called the IDAR model, which has 5 phases: AIDAR: awareness, interest, desire, action, and retention. Okay. So this model identifies, as I said, cognitive stages of individuals that they go through during the buying process for a product or service. So it is a purchasing funnel where buyers go to and fro at each stage to support them in making the final decision. And as you see, it's an inverted pyramid. It's an inverted pyramid because in the beginning, maybe 1 million people will hear about my restaurant, but only 1,000 or 100 will be loyal customers that come every day. So that's why each stage has more people than the one next to it, the one under it. So let's start with awareness. Awareness is creating brand awareness or affiliation with your product or service. So I just opened my restaurant, but no one knows I exist. So how do I make them know that I exist? I do an awareness campaign. And this awareness campaign can be something like a Facebook campaign. Maybe I do a viral video of a celebrity eating my burger. Maybe I just tell them, hey, I'm here, I'm open. I do an opening launch event in my neighborhood. I put music, I put balloons, I make a party. So anything to make people aware that you exist is the first stage. The second stage is having people interested in your product, service, or organization. So generating interest in the benefit of your product or service, and sufficient interest to encourage the buyers to start research further. So when you go see when you hear about a restaurant, the first thing that you might ask is, what is their food? Do they have a menu? Is their food good? So once you tell them, once you're done with the first awareness phase, some people will come and ask you, oh, what food do you serve? And so publishing your menu online, putting pictures of your food, you will generate interest for people to see what this restaurant is about. And then that directly moves you to desire. So at that stage, people who have seen your menu, some of them might tell you, oh, I don't care about burgers. But then some of them will look at the pictures and they will say, oh, I love burgers. I want a juicy burger right now. Like they are desiring a burger. And so the pool of people who are desiring your product or service, your organization, is less than the people who are interested in it, interested in knowing more about it. And now comes the hardest part of this funnel, which is the action. The action is when someone actually comes to the restaurant and orders a burger and eats it. So they did the action. They went through awareness, which is knowing about that your restaurant exists, and they were interested in getting a menu to see what food you serve, and then they like what food you serve, and they are desiring to come, and then they actually came. So sometimes people get confused between the desire and the action, but a lot of times you desire things that you cannot buy or you forget about. So you see an ad on TV, and then you really like the cereal that you see on TV, but you never buy it. So then you have to think about, why are people who want to buy my product are not buying it? Either it's not available in their supermarkets, either it's too expensive for them, they can't afford it, so many things. So for a person to move from desire to action, they have to actually purchase your product or join your organization or join a project, or depending on what you're selling. And finally, and then the most important thing for sustainability of your organization or of your business is retention. Retention is about having customers come back to your restaurant and recommending the restaurant to their friends. Because, and as I said, it can also be a cycle, because when you do retention, when a person tells their friends about this restaurant, their friend is now in the awareness phase, because they are learning about the restaurant for the first time. So retention completes the cycle of your marketing, but also keeps people coming to your restaurant. Now, I want to ask someone from you to think about, or to tell me, how does this model apply to JCI? Because I gave you an example about a restaurant, not really relevant to JCI, but how can we apply this to JCI? Who wants to volunteer? Or will Ahmed pick someone randomly?
I like this part of when picking randomly people.
Okay, do it. Go for it. I don't see anyone commenting, so pick someone.
Okay, Mu'adh.
Mike.
Are you hearing us, Mu'adh? Mu'adh, you are with us? So I think we go to another alternative.
Okay.
See him? Can you hear us? See him Al-Azhari?
I think everyone's playing it that they're not hearing us. Okay. Ahmed, do you want to give it a shot yourself? Because we're running out of time.
I will try with the last chance with a participant.
Okay.
So, Fatma Ammar, are you hearing us? I will unmute you. I think they have problem of connection, or Nabil said, can you repeat the question? I think Nabil will volunteer.
So my question is, how can we apply the either model to JCI? Like I told you about the burger restaurant, you go through the phases. So how can we apply the same phases for someone who's never heard about JCI to go through the either model?
So Nabil, you go for the question. Okay, I think no one is volunteering or accepted.
I volunteer.
Yeah, okay, Sumaya, so.
Okay, so awareness, the local organization, it's just creating. So we need to make members or people know that the organization is the local organization is existing. So we can make an event, for example, and invite people to this event.
Okay.
For example, what?
I said okay. Yes.
Okay, invites people to this event. We do some charts and something to make that that this is the name of the organization, who we are, and present our organization for those people. For example, when we make a recruitment session for members, we make an event and we put some flip charts, etc. To make the visual part for the organization, and then we talk about the organization. This is the awareness. Then the interest is we can, for example, put these members to return for the organization by making some trainings or something that will interest them. We will ask them, for example, what is their needs, or if they want to be a part for our local organizations, and then we make these trainings for those members to have this interest, the desire when they integrate the local organization. So for having this desire, we need to make some activities in our local organization for members to involve them, like activities like team buildings, like projects that make them put them in responsibility and execute actions that make them more the best version of their. And action is working on projects. Retention, for retention, I don't know, but if we do all that, I think they will stay.
Retention is very yes, they will stay in the organization, but also they will tell their friends to join, so they will recommend other people to join the organization. That's actually a very, very good summary of how it works in JCI. So to recap, this also doesn't have to be for a new organization. So for any organization, in order for you to get a member to join JCI, he has to go through AIDAR. So he needs to learn about JCI for the first time. It can be through their friends. And we actually discussed the awareness part specifically in the other course, the Engage, Empower, Grow, which is the recruitment course, on how do people hear about JCI for the first time. And most of the time, it's about their friends telling them, come and join JCI. No matter how much Facebook posts we put, no matter how much things we do, around 80% of people join JCI because of their friends or their family members have told them to join. So that is why in JCI, it's very important to do the retention part to get more awareness, because your members are the people who are going to get members in. And then the interest of new members, the first time they come to an event and ask, what is JCI? What does it do? Why? What do I get when I join? That is their interest phase. Their desire phase is when they start coming again to project meetings or to do events that you're doing, maybe fundraisings or entertainment events. And then the action is when they actually become a pinned JCI member who will pay their fees, who attend events internationally or locally or nationally. And then as we said before, retention is staying for long, becoming a senator, becoming a local board member, becoming a national board member, becoming a national president. So all of these things, the growth is part of the retention. So now I just quickly want to mention the last thing that is very important. Actually, I'm going to ask you this question, and you can write in the comments. What are the assets needed to implement a proper marketing strategy? So what are the things, maybe the skills, the equipment, the people that you need to implement a marketing strategy? Someone said that's what happened to me when I joined when I heard about JCI. Khulud, yes, you were one of your friends, I'm assuming, told you about JCI. So again, I'm asking the question, what are the assets needed to implement a proper marketing strategy? Okay, have a vision, a goal, and resources. So my question is, what are the resources? Like by assets, I mean resources. What are the things that you have to have on hand?
I think the assets that all organization, it's JCI or other organization
Yes,
need.
definitely.
It's technical experience, especially in designs and the channel of communication. Because what I see nowadays, many organizations, they are trying to implement marketing strategies, but they are facing big problem with design and designer. So they are not working very good on their brand. So for example, on Facebook page, they are using different colors and different posts. They are not having a graphic identity that will reflect about their brand. So let me say the first thing that we should work on it. The first asset, it's graphic and technical assets.
Great. Graphics. So you need skills. So one of the skills is graphic design.
Yeah.
You need other skills as well. But other than that, other than skills, we need something. So I'm gonna quickly go through some of the things. Let's see in the chat. Local media responsible and JCI. Social media is playing an important role. So definitely you have to have social media channels. Time to develop strategy. Definitely time is a very important resource. And you have to put a strategy to attract our audience. So what you need to do is to have one of your assets is the people involved in marketing efforts. So these people can be the committee that is putting the strategy. It can be the person who is handling the Facebook page or the social media accounts, the Instagram stories, the Twitter, the TikTok, Snapchat, all of these platforms. You need someone to handle them. You need someone to do the design. You need someone, if you want to do advertising, you have someone to do the boosting on Facebook maybe, or you have someone to write the press releases, someone to translate if you want to write it in English and French and Arabic. So these, like, the people are one of the assets, but also time. Marketing takes a lot of time in creating a strategy and doing the proper marketing. I see a lot of organizations are not doing it very well because they're not investing time, they're not investing efforts in creating strategies. They just post things on Facebook without having an identity, without having a strategy, without maybe they're doing it in French, just in one language. So most people internationally do not understand it, or in Arabic, which is worse because more people speak French in JCI than Arabic. So I see some organizations, they write all of their communication in Arabic. So you are reaching your local audience, but you're not reaching the international audience. People can't know what you're doing if you're only using one language. So this is, so time is important. Technical experience is important. So this is something that bugs me about marketing is now they think everyone who has a Facebook account can do Facebook marketing, which is not true because a lot of brands have made this mistake and they failed miserably. So if you do not have the technical experience, it's good that you're taking this course, for example, because you're increasing your experience or your knowledge about marketing, but also take other trainings, go online, do courses. There's a lot of free courses online that you can actually learn the exact skills on how to do everything that I talked about today and I will talk about tomorrow. So if you don't have the technical experience, try to learn it or find someone who does. We talked about who will be doing the design and branding. This is very important. Who will be implementing the strategy? So sometimes maybe the local board will put the marketing strategy, but then they will assign a marketing director to implement it. And then also, what tools do we need? So do we need Facebook, Twitter, Insta? We need to set those up. Do we need to do newspaper ads? Do we need to put a billboard? Do we need to print posters? So these are the things, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. These tools, we need to think about them as well, because some things cost money, some things are free. Also, a very, very, very important thing, even if you have all of those and you don't have content, then you're not doing anything. So content is very important because you have to create high quality things so that people are attracted to them. If you create ugly posters, people will not take notice. Or if you don't even create posters, you send an email or just text, people will not notice. So you need to create good content, high quality content, and it has to be on a regular basis. And I'm not going to go into this now, but for example, if you post once a month on Facebook, you don't get any good reach, because Facebook punishes users who don't post regularly by showing their posts less to people. So there's a whole algorithm about that. If you don't post regularly on Facebook, it's the same. If you don't put ads regularly on any other channel, you won't get the benefits of a continuous marketing campaign. And then the last one, and it's also very important, is how much money you can dedicate for paid ads, or to put a budget for it. Sometimes you need money. If you can't find a volunteer designer, you might need to hire someone to do nice designs. So you always have to think about how much budget can I give. And usually organizations and businesses use around 25 to 30% of their total budget to do marketing. I'm not talking about JCI, I'm talking in general as a company, but this is usually the standard in the industry, to have 25 to 30% of your budget go to marketing. So this is why you see not a lot of organizations are spending that much money on marketing, and they're not getting an increase in members and an increase in awareness and all of that. So it's usually like around that time. So these are some of the assets, and in addition to the things that you said. So before we close for today, I want someone to do the summary of what I talked about in the second module, and then we can leave. We're a bit late. So Ahmad, do you want to volunteer someone, or do you want to volunteer yourself?
So who will volunteer, or we continue on choosing? So to gain time, I will choose someone. So
Okay.
Kumar, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah, very good. So can you share your video with us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am sharing my video with you.
Hello.
Very good.
Yes, because it is in India, it is almost 11 o'clock.
Wow.
Night.
So it's
Can you give us a quick summary of what we talked about in this module?
Yes, sir. My English is not as much good as per, so still I am trying.
It's okay, you're doing well.
We are understanding about the positioning, and
Okay.
most that I like is the positioning, and another thing is unique value proposition.
Mm-hmm.
The unique propositions that we had taken, and we had taken the feedback and the answers from these people, and what do you say, asset for the marketing strategy, just like it. And the most thing I like in this the whole session is the model, the AID, just hold on, that is AIDAR model.
Yes.
That is awareness, trust, desire, and everything that you had explained very beautifully with the example of your the hotel and the burger example, and the lady has also tried to explain beautiful way. And then the last what you say, the overall summit of the implementation of a marketing strategy. So according to me, we are learning session 2 is this. I'm not good in English, so I'm learn and I write it, but I'm not able to explain in a proper way. Sorry, sir, for that.
No, you did very well. Thank you so much for the summary, and I'm glad you were able to join us today. So yes, as you said, we spoke about all of those. If anyone has any questions, you can leave them in the comments. We will end the session today, but tomorrow at 11 a.m. GMT, we will be continuing with the rest of the modules. The third one will be about your audience and how to communicate with them. And the fourth one will be about how to do sustainable marketing. So this is what I have for you today. If you have any closing remarks, VP Ahmed, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, dear VP Mohammad Hijazi, for accepting our invitation and for delivering this precious course to us. It's very good working on our marketing for all JCI in local organization. So it's all related to the JCI brand. So we should work very hard to improve our image. So the image of our international organization. Thank you all members for being here, for your time. We have there's a big gap in the time zone. We have people from all around the world, Nepal, India, Germany, Tunisia, Morocco, Madagascar, Nigeria, many other countries. Thank you very much. And welcome. So I will remember you that we have a second part of this course tomorrow, 11 GMT. Don't miss the opportunity to continue this precious experience with dear VP Mohammad. So before we close, I want to ask you to take a training selfie. So if possible, all of participants open your cam so we can take a picture. And just for people who didn't register, please register so you can access the knowledge test after the second session. And people who didn't take the ticket for the second session from Eventbrite, go and take your ticket so you can join us tomorrow on Zoom. So please, everyone, open their camera.
Oh, it's nice to see everyone.
Yeah. I'm very glad to meet with you all, guys. It's a very good opportunity to network with JCs from all around the world. So Robin, Hind, Zainab, Hiba, Emna, Fatma, Mariam, Sumaya, please open your camera.
My camera was already opened.
Ah, yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I will ask the other.
I think the rest, they don't have a webcam, I think.
Okay, very good. So at 3, please everyone cheese for a team selfie. So 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammad.
I hope to see you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
See you tomorrow, y'all.
See you tomorrow.
Ramzan and Ramadan Mubarak to all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kormakar.
Yes.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye everyone.
See you
Bye
tomorrow,
bye.
guys.
See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you. Bye bye.
Yes, I am especially thankful to the National President, Madam, who had sent me this link so I can connect with you. So thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you very much. Okay. See you tomorrow, guys.
See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.